What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 94. My name is Zach Graham, your host here in the North End, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud, and we call him E. Midweek here, late week here in Austin, Texas. Weather not too bad, but the vibes around everybody's favorite team down in the dumps, to say the least. I know you and I talking a little bit before we hit record on today's episode. You're sounding a little bit better. How you feeling?
Yes, indeed. I guess that's a positive. I'm definitely feeling much better. Was able to get some food in me for the first time in a while last night, which was really good. I've been living on like protein shakes and replacement meals. So that was messing up the gastrointestinals quite a bit. So it was good to get some food in. I'm definitely feeling better. The voice is almost back all the way. And I'm still doing better than Austin FC.
Yeah,
we'll take that.
Yeah, and the thing is, as we'll get into the preview here of Saturday's match at Colorado Rapids, and of course preview Friday's match, the Western Conference quarterfinal at the next pro level there for the FCito boys. But there are some ways that we could certainly come out of this weekend with some positive vibes, which we just have not really had. I think outside of Alex Ring's winner, and then of course like the middle of that game against the Galaxy before the it all came crashing down again. There just has not been anything to celebrate lately.
There really has not been.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even Alex's winner. It was Alex's tire.
Yeah, fuck. Tie that felt like a win. And then the other night, I know that, and nobody corrected me, I think just because everybody thought the same.
Yep.
Called it a loss the other night on accident. But
yeah, I remember saying it on the pod. I was like, everything, falls apart with, your players and your trust when you're on a losing streak like this. And it was like, because it felt like a huge loss.
Yeah.
3-1 and we haven't had a win. So you can't, so it's just devoid of 3 points everywhere.
Yep. Well, let's talk a little bit about our opponent coming up this Saturday. And of course, we'll start off reminding everybody that this Saturday, if you're not going out to Denver to support the boys, come over to Austin Beer Works, the Fighting Pollo Pills release party. I know we have talked about it at length on this podcast. We had Pollo and the Fighting Leslies and all that on the pod last week, but the day is finally here. Saturday, doors open at 7, kickoff 8:30. The Fighting Pollo Pills release, all that merch. We've seen all the sneak previews of it. It looks great. Can't wait to be out there. Hope to see you there as well. So of course, the history between these two teams, we will always, in our minds, be linked with this team. I'm sure Colorado doesn't think twice about the fact that our first win ever and our first goal ever was scored there in Denver. I believe Dick's Sporting Goods Park is the title of their stadium. The 3-1 win, of course, in the second ever regular season match back in 2021. Then 2 L's at the hands of the Rapids that year. A 1-0 loss at home. Anya Shinyashiki, with the lone goal in that one. And then a 3-0 road loss much later in that first season, I think late September. And thinking back to that season, neither of those losses, I don't think the team should have at the time or really did feel any shame, because the Rapids were the 1 seed last year, which was like their lone blip of success out of their last like 7 or 8 seasons. We know that their fans are currently boycotting the lengthy, I guess, absence of winning and success there. But 2021, they were certainly in position to make a run. Of course, did not end up making the final last season. 3-2 road win for Austin. That was the 4th of July match where it went down 2-0 early on, fought back. Maxey with the winner, Kip Keller with the red card, and the Verde able to hold on. Then decision day home draw last year, the 1-1 draw with the not uncalled Lala Abubakar, but we thought should have been a red card in that one. luckily didn't affect our playoff seeding or chances or hopes or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this one coming up certainly could eliminate us completely, I think, depending on how some of the other results go. But earlier this season, we saw this team at home, I believe in like the 5th or 6th game this season. And that was a 1-1 draw. John Gallagher scored in the 5th minute, and then Austin goes stagnant the rest of the game. And then Kevin Cabral, who you talk about, just small amounts of success for Colorado, small amounts of success for Kevin Cabral in his MLS career. But there was a small blip of success there, of course, against us in that one in the 85th. Just more examples of Austin dropping points at home to teams that they should have absolutely beaten this season. So getting up to date on where the Rapids are right now, they drew Vancouver last night 2-2. And if I recall correctly, let me pull that box score up right now. Watched a little bit of that one, and Colorado was actually leading with 15 minutes left in this one before Brian White's equalizer. Certainly 1 point not going to satisfy the Whitecaps, but the Colorado Rapids still very much fighting to defend their home turf. Obviously, a lot of these guys playing for new contracts, whether in Colorado or elsewhere. They've also got some of their younger players up and in the rotation here as their season, all they have left to play for is pride. And this is kind of just the same thing, but they are 1 point above Toronto currently in the race to not be the wooden spoon holders. So obviously still battling, even after their 2 goals last night. Just 23 goals scored in their 30 league matches played while giving up 47. So they have given up more than twice the number of goals they have scored this year. Lots of injuries still on this team. I know Lalas Abubakar has been dealing with some injuries. He was on the bench last night, but did not end up playing. Alvis was also suspended on for a red card. Yarborough is out for the season, their starting keeper. So they've got Illich in net, who is, I think, a fine prospect from everything that I know about that young guy. But Jack Price has been out, tore his Achilles earlier in the season. That was like week 2, I think. Yep. Abubakar Keita out as well. Could come back. Him and Gersbach could come back this month. But, this on paper, again, a team that is 1 point off the wooden spoon and I think pretty much where they should be. This is not a good team. This is a terrible team Austin FC is facing off with on Saturday. Any observations for you on this Colorado team outside of the fact we should have beat them the last 2 times we played?
Yep. I mean, I guess I could just pile on some more stats about how not good they are. Lowest FOT mob rating for their average in the league. Lowest goals scored in the league. Lowest goals per game. One of 2 teams who are under a single goal a game. They're at 0.8. So they're not good. Neither are we. That draw at home was disappointing. And, 2 points lost in this season that could have gone a very long way for us at this point in time, given how everything is gone. And with all that being said, they have a victory more recently than we do. So that's as we were, doing some research and looking at these numbers and just the club that they have and all of the issues that they're going through right now with their supporters, their management, trying to get Kroenke out and all that good stuff. They still have a win more recently than us. So we can't go in with a disrespectful kind of mindset. We can't be looking at the table and be like, yeah, they're only 1 point above the wooden spoon, because we're 6 points ahead of them, 7?
No, I think we're actually 12 points ahead of them.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're on 35 in 12th place. They're on 23 in last place. So there at least there is still a tier break, I think, between Colorado and the rest of the West. But when you get to the bottom of that next tier, there's us. So it's there's a gap, but it doesn't make you feel much better.
It feels closer than it did, it does. So, I mean, we've been saying it for the last 3 fucking games. They're all must-win games, and this very obscure way we can get into the playoffs starts with getting 3 points up there in Colorado. And, I don't know how confident our team is feeling right now, with all the stuff that they're dealing with. I tried to relate it to us, and you talked about guys, playing for new contracts, and the shot across the bow that Roto gave after the Diego trade, I imagine ruffled up a lot of people on this club. And, at the end of the day, we're fans of this team. These dudes are professionals, employees, trying to find ways to pay for all of the things that they're doing in their lives, take care of their families and everything. So I would imagine that aspect of it all has been difficult for the players to deal with here in Verde country. But, you got to put it aside when the game comes and try your best to get 3 points here.
Yeah, I mean, looking at their schedule this season, obviously, like you mentioned, they did have that win about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks ago now, against New England. That was the game after New England went completely haywire there. But between May 6th and that September 16th win against New England, they had just one league win, which actually came at the expense of FC Dallas, a 2-1 Colorado win there back on July 8th. So I guess let's talk about us. And there was media availability earlier this morning after training at St. David's Performance Center. And I saw Phil West was out there. I saw Michelle Sanchez was out there. Corey Mose was out there. And trying to piece together some of the things they said right off the rip. This is extremely surprising to me. Sebastian Driussi not ruled out, and we may see him out on the injury report come Saturday, but listed by Josh as day-to-day, and said that he participated in some of practice today. Again, that could be he did the stretching routine to warm up and then went to the training room for rehab. But that is shocking to me. I can't put it any other way, because obviously we talked earlier this week on the last episode about I said I was convinced he was done for the season. You said you were at least halfway there. Anybody who listened to Top Flight a few days or earlier this week, rather, heard H say, and again, H is plugged into this stuff and knows things that most fans don't. He said he was told that Seba was done for the year. So maybe some mind games that are unnecessary at this point with him. There was actually a picture put out by Michelle of Josh and Seba having a little powwow there, kind of under the canopy at the Performance Center. So 10 is around, and he's not, I feel like if he was legitimately out for the season, they would go ahead and announce it. So it feels like the guy is really trying to push to play whenever he can. I still don't think it happens this weekend, but shit, man, again, if and we're not going to look past this game. If you get 3 points here and then Seba can potentially play in a game next week, all right, now then you've got the whiff of like, all right, well, at least this can be an exciting match next week. But what do you think about that? Like, because this was puzzling to me. I know you were surprised as well. What do you make of this?
I don't know what to make of it. The only thing I guess I can make of it is that we just overreacted to how he reacted to the initial injury in that Galaxy game. I mean, you texted me this morning with the news from Phil, and I was like, what are we going to do? Like a weekend at Seba's situation? Just like, duct tape his body to Rodney Redis and just throw him out there and just around, like trying to get 3 points any way we can. I don't know. I don't think it's gamesmanship at this point. I know that they have done that in the past with Seba in regard to our injury reports and delaying things and trying to keep his status as unknown as possible to our opponents. But like you said, if it was a season-ending injury, you're not going to say a guy is day-to-day.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's not going to be a day-to-day thing. You can say he's out, but we could expect him back before the season is over. Right. But saying day-to-day is shocking to me, because this isn't like, you're dealing with like like some sort of rib injury or like a shoulder, you can kind of move through it, maybe get a little Toradol shot, ready to go. This is a hamstring issue, which completely hinders all the things you want to be able to do out there on the pitch. So I don't know what to make of it. I will say, go on record, I would be shocked if he plays in Colorado. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. I guess at this point, like, I'm not surprised with this new information, right? The new context surrounding his potential availability. I guess I'm not surprised if he makes a bench appearance or like makes the trip at the very least. If he's in that 11, again, I am. I would love it. Yeah, I would love it. I want our best player to play. But he's obviously not the only one on that injury report. And the main two updates that we got in terms of the Twitter timeline was Gyasi Zardes trending towards out again, but Matt Hedges maybe getting closer to ready. And then I did pry this out of Phil. So Phil hasn't yet posted his most recent update on the Verde All Day Substack. Again, by the time you are listening to this, if you are a Phil West subscriber, and you should be, verdeallday.com, I believe, is the website. You can find that link on Phil's Twitter. He said, because I asked him about Lundqvist, where's Adam? You know, because again, less important probably, and no shade to Adam there, but then those other three players that we already talked about. And Phil said the quote was, he's fully involved starting this week. So to me, what's the quizzical look for?
Starting this week, like having started this week?
No, like he's fully involved. Yeah, like starting this week. So I guess after they probably didn't practice Monday after the game went till fucking 2. Yeah. But so he said, yeah, this week he is full go in practice.
Okay. And yeah, I mean, shit, we need all hands on deck.
Yeah. Well, and does that maybe, again, if you have Hedges availability, does that open the idea if Seba is out, especially, I guess just in my eyes, could we see that 5-back, 3-back, whatever you want to call it, right? Where we've got the wing backs, we're working with that box midfield. And if Gyasi is out, then I think Emmy is probably at the 9 here. But if Seba's out, maybe we need him more in the midfield. I don't know. Like, what do you think we see here on Saturday? Again, I think for both of us, we're just blindly firing at this point because of all the uncertainty around who is going to be available. But what's your best guess?
I do think it should be the 3-back with the 2 wing backs. I can't be overly sure because, like you said, there's a lot of questions going on right now, and I don't know if this team's just going to kind of throw caution to the wind, just let it fly, and try to do whatever we can to just win a fucking soccer game. Yeah. But I would prefer if we could go Leo, Hedges, Julio, Lundqvist on the left, Johnny on the right, and then build from there. And I would want to see Emmy at the 9. I don't think it's advantageous to start either Maxi or Will at the 9 and then have just one of them off the bench potentially to come in at some point in the game when we're making those substitutions. So for me, it would be Emmy at the 9. He's been in a good run of form for his Austin FC career here, and being at the 9 has seemed to help him. So I do want to see the 3-back with the 2 wing backs, Emmy at the 9 in that box midfield, saying no Seba because I'm on record saying I'd be shocked if he's in the starting 11 or even if he plays, to be honest. But I would go with Alex. Johan,
has to be in there, right?
Ride the hot hand right now. Yeah, you got to ride the hot hand. He's playing with a lot of confidence. So Alex, Johan, Owen, I think we got to get him in the word is escaping me right now.
I mean, if Seba's out, right?
He's back into the ingratiated back into the yes. But if Seba's out, I think that he, and then with Danny as well.
Okay. I think if we are going to go with that back 5, I think you may see that Lima Galley pairing again on the right with Lima at that right center back and Johnny at right wing back, just because if Hedges is still questionable, I doubt he starts. Right. Yeah. I'm with you. We've been saying it for how long that we want to see those 3 true center backs start together in that 3-back, 5-back, what have you. So we'll see. It'll be really interesting to see how they run it out. Obviously, we'll get some more information at some point on Saturday because right now you can't say with any sort of certainty that the team's going to put out an injury report, before 90 minutes prior to kick. with what happened this past Sunday. Well, and look, we'll make our score predictions here in a second, but this is not the only thing that Austin can, again, huge air quotes, win on Saturday, because the Copa Tejas finale between, unfortunately, the U.S. Open Cup champion Houston Dynamo hosting FC Dallas. If that game ends in a draw, and that kickoff is at 7:30, so we will know that result by halftime of the Austin and Colorado match. If that game ends in a draw, Austin FC would win the Copa Tejas. And like I said, I know there's, at the end of the day, we don't care that much about it either, but give us something to just for a night grasp onto and say, all right, we did it.
Make that post-game Taco Bell taste a little better.
Oh, man. All right. Well, let's close it out here. What is this the week that
I've really painted myself into a corner here.
What do you got?
Look, man, fuck it. I'm going down with the ship too. Whatever. It is what it is. Again, on paper, is a team we should beat.
Yeah.
This is a team that we should beat. They can't score. We can't stop anybody. We've kind of learned how to score as of late, which has been nice. So I can't foresee a clean sheet. I can't foresee Colorado scoring 2 goals. They have 23. How many they got in the year? 23?
Yeah, out of 30 games.
2-1 Austin. Don't ask me again about it.
Okay. Well, God, you bastard. That's what I was going to go 2-1 because I feel like, look, I feel like even without Seba, like you should be able to get this one. It's easier said than done. And it really just feels like this is a fucking stoppable force meeting a movable object with these two fucking teams. Like, oh, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Fuck it, man. We almost hit the double Stradamus on Sunday. I'm with you. 2-1 Austin. Let's go, boys. Come on. 3 points. Send everybody home on Saturday night feeling good. Couple pieces of Austin FC news here, and it's actually a nice segue into last business day here on episode 94 because the Next Pro awards were released this morning.
Yeah.
Damian Lass wins Save of the Year for his save against North Texas SC at home earlier this season. Went back and watched that replay. Hell of a save, unsurprisingly. Damian also took home Goalkeeper of the Year in Next Pro. Obviously, well-deserved. The last line of defense on the best defensive team in this league. And then one more honor for Damian and a best 11 spot also to Captain Joe Hafferty. Nice. 2 Austin players on the best 11 team. So congrats to those guys. Very well deserved. And I will give an honorable North End podcast best 11 mention to Sal Mazzaferro, who, it could have I think best 11 could have gone to a number of guys on that back line. Certainly not taking anything away from Damian or Joe, but Sal was fantastic all season as well. So congrats again to those guys, and you love to see it.
Absolutely. Congrats to them. Well-deserved. A great season, a very successful inaugural season for this club. I know we tailed off and didn't end the way that anybody really expected us to, but a hell of a year for the boys. Love that club, love that team. Hoping that we can just find our stride again here when we got this SKC2 matchup coming up.
Yeah, SKC2 coming up Friday night. That's September 29th. Kickoff there at Rock Chalk Park in Kansas. That will be at 7 p.m. That is Rock Chalk Park, a.k.a. the Rusty Swing Set. If you know the Austin FC2 diehards will recall that early season match. We'll see if the swing set is still within range of the Apple TV microphones there. SKC2, obviously a club that we had trouble with this season, lost the shootout up there in the Rusty Swing game, and then SKC2 handing us an L at the pitch in the latter part of this season. And of course, They passed us on decision day with their shootout victory over St. Louis City too. So this is the 3 seed. Both teams were on 49 points from their 28 regular season matches. They actually did surpass Austin in terms of goal differential. They were plus 18 to Austin's plus 17, but they scored 60 goals on the season to Austin's 40, let in 42 to Austin's 23. So these are, in my opinion, again, only seen 2 games of SKC2, only watched them when they played our boys. But it seems like 2 contrasting styles, a very high octane offense here. 60 goals is second only to the Rapids league leading 70. But leaky at the back, 42 goals given up is in the realm of some of these teams in the West that did not even qualify in the top 7. And as I'm looking at this, these standings one last time here in the regular season, LA Galaxy 2, who were last in the West, gave up 74 goals in 28 games. Tough season for Galaxy 2 there. And we will, I guess I should say, some of these names here for Sporting KC2 will be familiar to those who were out at the pitch a few weeks back. You've got Pau Vidal leading this team with 11 goals in his 25 appearances and 14 starts. Then 8 goals and 3 assists for Ethan Bryant, and they are led in goal contributions by Josh Cohn, who's got 14 contributions, 6 of them goals, and 8 dimes for Cohn across his 22 appearances. We do know that Lucas Rosa, the former Pitt Panther teammate of Valentin Noel, so you've got a Pitt Panther connection there, and we could see some of their first team quality guys, first team contract players like a Cam Duke, somebody like that, who we've seen play against Austin's first team back in 2022, was actually red carded in that match. He's appeared in 15 games for KC's second team this year with 3 goals and an assist. I believe he was also in the starting 11 at the game last month against SKC2. And if you're just looking at FOTMOB ratings, unsurprisingly, Josh Cohn leading this team with a 7.45 FOTMOB rating. And Lucas Rosa leading this team in big chances created with 11. Anything you got to add on the Sporting KC2 side of things?
Look, the Vidal kid is a very dangerous player. He's one of the guys who, the name has stuck with me throughout this season after having seen him play, just being like, okay, he looks a little different than the other guys who are out there. Same thing goes for Rosas. And as you said, 2 contradicting styles, squaring off here. And when we previewed SKC2 a while ago, when we played them at the pitch, that's what we said. It said it's going to be a high-octane offense versus the best defense in the league, and we'll see whose strategy works out better. And I'm just looking at, some more of the advanced stats. They're tied for second for goals per game. We are first in the league in goals conceded per game. So it's going to come down to who can dictate the tempo, who can enforce their style of play. And like I said, tracking back to the Red Bulls game, I think it's always advantageous to be the club that is forcing the action, dictating the pace, and just enforcing their will on the other team. And, our defense has been the best in the league throughout the season after a completely torrid start there. But we have lost our way a little bit in that back line. And I know we've been dealing with some injuries, and then Kippy coming back in and sometimes being back out. So I'm hoping that we can find the cohesiveness that we had earlier that was really helping us, identify threats on the other team and then taking them out of the game.
Yeah, and of course, looking towards what we are going to do here, still expect to be shorthanded, right? Because especially at this late of the season, and if Seba is out, like, this to me is not the time to get cute and bring CJ back down just to try to get, this is a kid that should be playing. I think, especially if Austin loses this weekend, we should see a lot of number 19, I think, going forward with the first team to close out the regular season.
Yeah.
Maybe we see Damian make this trip. Again, we don't have confirmation. Matt Bersano, we speculated that he's injured, but he hasn't been on an injury report, so that's not confirmed. And I believe Micah is with the U17s because the U17 World Cup takes place in Indonesia, I believe, starting next week or like 9 or 10 days from now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, I mean, this is going to be tough. There's a reason, I think, that Sporting KC as the 3rd seed picked us on the selection show the other day. But at the end of the day, that is bulletin board material
Absolutely.
right there. I don't know what Coach Utley needs other than that. And the guy shouldn't even need him to tell them that. Like, this is, we got to get up for this one.
Yeah. Needs a laminator.
Yeah.
Show up with it. I don't foresee CJ back there. I do think Damien's going to go back, though. I do think that they're going to send him back and they're going to try to finish out the job that they started with him in net. And I'm totally fine with that. If we were doing better in this with the big boy club, then and Damien was our second best keeper, then no, like, let's not do that. But in this situation, this team is playing for something. So go for it. Like, give him Damien. Hopefully we can have something else to celebrate. Maybe we, fall backwards into a Copa Tejas cannon and then can do something in next pro here. So I do hope Damien gets back and gets to see this through with his teammates.
Yeah. And before we continue on that, I will correct you. The cannon is reserved between Houston and Dallas. I believe Copa Tejas, an actual cup, right? Just we got to come correct. I mean, the cannon's 12 feet high. That's going to shoot off.
Give us the cannon.
Man, I mean, when it comes to the Dame, like, I would love to see Damien here. I think it's even less about the team on that decision. For me, if I'm the one, if you're saying, all right, ZG, you get to decide where Damien is this weekend, I'm putting him with the next pro team to play in that playoff format and the elimination game and get those minutes under his belt rather than like, we're focusing more on the next pro playoff run then. Because again, first team still has a chance. We don't have that little lowercase e next to our name yet. Yeah, we'll see what they do, man. And again, the guys that end up on that pitch are the ones that we're going to obviously ride with and cheer for. And I think they can get it done without those bigger names, the first team contract names that have been bouncing back and forth.
It just feels really unfair to Sanderson too. Like,
sure, to put him in
go through this whole season and then just let this kid get fucking pelted in the playoffs. Like, I don't think that's fair to him. But I understand that that's not what this is about. It's not about being fair to Sanderson.
Right.
It's about doing what's right for the entirety of this franchise. So I do expect to see Damien, but I would feel pretty rough if it was Sanderson back there.
Well, and I think a big boost for this club. Well, this isn't fucking rocket science here, but if David Rodriguez can get some of that early season form back, I think he has looked fine in these last couple games, but he hasn't translated it into any goal scoring, goal contribution.
We haven't seen the magic.
What's that?
We haven't seen the magic from him
for sure.
that we saw earlier in the season where he's like making incredible plays on dudes, one-on-one, just brilliance and being in the right place at the right time and finishing goals. Yeah. So if he gets back to form, I will feel confident. He just hasn't been, and it's just been compounded with the fact that CJ has obviously been brought up to the first team. Yeah,
for sure. And again, with David, we've seen the make three guys miss and get into the area, just that last piece that made the fan base kind of fall in love with him and perk their head up like, who is this kid? Yeah. It would be a hell of a time to get some of that back. So 7 p.m. on Friday, Apple TV, the place to catch that game. And man, if anybody is going up there and making that trip on Friday, be loud, drown out that rusty swing. One thing to do, E. I know you're not predicting an Austin FC 2 draw or loss in this one. Oh, and format-wise, they will play, I believe, 30 minutes of extra time if this is tied after 90 minutes before going to a penalty shootout. So extra wrinkle there in the playoff format. how much is Austin FC2 winning by in this quarterfinal matchup?
Well, I am going to break the streak and say Austin FC2 draw.
Okay.
2-2.
Okay.
Means in net, win on PKs.
All right. I like it. I'm going to go. I'm going to go 1-0 Austin FC. Get it done. Ooh. Clean sheet.
Shut them out.
Clean sheet for the goalkeeper of the year. Maybe a couple other save of the year candidates added on.
All right.
I'm going to say Damien is there. I'm going to say he gets the shutout in the playoff format and Austin advances. And if Austin is to advance, again, there is potential that they could host a Western Conference semifinal match, but they would have to have some other higher seeded teams. Tacoma would have to lose, and then Colorado would have to pass over Austin because Colorado does get to choose their opponent next round in addition to their quarterfinal bye. So 2-2 for E, penalty shootout win, 1-0 for me. We don't care how you get it done, boys. Survive in advance. We'll be cheering for you back here in Central Texas. Let's close it out with the nonsense today. Obviously no best ball update. We ran that out the other night. That posted the updates on the Twitter feed today. We're feeling good with the 26-point cushion, but 4 scoring periods remain. So still plenty of time. We know that 1 week could not just close that gap, but put Moon Tower on top. So, we're talking to the boys. We've got, rah-rah speeches, bulletin board material up there. We got to close out this season strong. And hopefully we can close out the season strong with the betting picks, because we had the 5 out of 6 episode run where we were profiting. Now 2 in a row in the red. Did finally calculate week 34 picks. That was minus 1.84 units. And then the midweek picks, a little 0 for 3 there. Dallas gets a draw up in Philly. So the plus 350 does not come through. Vancouver plus 120. They got a draw as well against Colorado. And then we took Miami minus 120. And we posted the pod 10 minutes later, I think. Messi's ruled out. I see the line. First, I saw the line starting to move heavily. I was like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
So Houston winning the Open Cup, I believe, second time in their club's history. So rightfully so. Those orange bastards are going to be loud for a while. Really, when they were in the dumps, they were loud too. At least those same 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah.
So let's try to turn it back around. -3 units on the midweek picks. That puts us -33.84 on the season. We know that -30 is the benchmark for us here late in the season, E. So I'll toss it to you to start us off. Where are we going here on the week 36 betting card?
It's full narrative week for me, my friend. So Right off the bat, we are going to Houston versus FC Dallas. We're going to take the draw. Plus 285. Give us the Copa.
I think that's the first time we have bet a draw this year.
It is.
We'll see how it goes. We would definitely take that. I mean,
it's just hilarious because ever since this playoff stretch has happened, everyone's been fucking drawing. And we've never picked a draw. And now I pick it. And of course, it's going to be a 8-3 down or some shit.
We'll see. Plus 285. That would be pretty nice in addition to celebrating the Copa Tejas. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to just flip this around here. We're getting Colorado to win or draw, and that is minus 210. I'm going to triple hammer that 3 units on Colorado. So we're going to bring home some cash if Austin FC does not get 3 points. And if we do get the 3 points, could care less. Season's still alive, not eliminated. So you talk about a narrative week. There's one for you.
All right. Well, I'm going to lean into it even more. My boys, the Fighting Runes, they're going up to Vancouver, a terrible place to play, up there on the turf. Good home team that Vancouver is, but it doesn't matter. Something's going to go good for us this week. We're getting DC at plus 300. Lock it in.
I like that. The Fighting Runes, and certainly continuing the narrative streak there. I'm going to go Galaxy here at home, minus 105 at Portland. Portland, one of the hottest teams in the league over the last few match days, but the Galaxy back home needing a win. Galaxy fans are there. They certainly seem rebought in to this new look Galaxy team. So Galaxy minus 105 at home versus Portland. You lock that in.
Very nice. Again, a narrative bet here. Team that is very good in St. Louis City at home hosting SKC. Take them plus 110.
Nice. I like that one. And then give me Cincinnati. Still haven't locked up the Supporter Shield quite yet. Most likely going to do so. And even odds here on the road at Toronto. Toronto, of course, 1 point behind Colorado. Currently the wooden spoon holders. I think they stay there on 22 points as Cincinnati at even odds will pick up 3. And I'll toss it back to you. Do you have another one here?
I do not.
Okay.
I'm bailing on the other one.
Okay. So no NFL specials for you. Still not giving out any free picks?
Nah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get back on the teaser horse here. Went up to 4 teams last week. It failed. So we're going back to old reliable. The 3-team teaser here, starting on Thursday Night Football. Green Bay hosting the Detroit Lions here. Big divisional matchup there in the NFC North. Right now, Green Bay, 2-point home dogs to Detroit. So I'm going to tease that up to 9 points there. So give me Green Bay and 9 points on the first leg here. Then Chiefs visiting the Jets. Chiefs are 9.5-point road favorites here. So we're getting that down to 2.5. And then the Eagles hosting the Washington Commanders. Right now, Philly minus 8. So we'll get that down to Philly by 1. You'll wrap all those up. It's a plus 130 3-team 7-point teaser. And we're going to hammer that, E. So we got a lot of units on the line here.
Where are you getting all these units from?
Well, basketball. So the week 36 betting card, E has Houston and Dallas to draw, meaning Austin FC wins the Copa Tejas for the second year in a row. It's got St. Louis City plus 110 at home, DC plus 300 on the road. That's north of the border in Vancouver. I've got Colorado minus 210 to win or draw against Austin. That is a 3-unit hammer. Galaxy minus 105 hosting Portland. Cincinnati even odds at Toronto. And then the 3-team NFL special teaser, Green Bay, Kansas City, Philadelphia. That's plus 130, and that's a 2-unit hammer. Those are the week 36 betting picks, and that will wrap up episode 94 of the North End podcast. If you've got 5 seconds to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, wherever you get your podcast, we would greatly appreciate it. And if you've got a buddy who's an Austin FC fan and you know they like podcasts, make sure they are listening to the North End pod. Get us in your friends' content rotation. We would appreciate the help in that regard. And if you're watching on the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. That also helps us grow the pod. You can hit the notification bell to know when a live stream pops up or a new episode goes live. And of course, on this episode, hit that thumbs up, like the video, help us battle the YouTube algorithm overlords, atone for your sins, wash yourselves clean in the waters of the North End. We will be back on Sunday recapping Austin FC's road trip out to Colorado, recapping Austin FC 2's first ever playoff matchup against SKC2, and talking about everything else in between. Hope to see you at the Fighting Pollo Pills release party. Austin Beer Works, doors at 7, game at 8:30. Hope to see everybody out there on Saturday. Until Sunday, he's E. I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.